Okay, let's talk about the idea of topic strings. This is one of the entries in your paragraph chart. Topic strings deal with a particular location in the sentence. So if these are all sentences in a paragraph, and for instance your associative idea has to do with red, we'll just say red and purple. Those are the associative ideas that are unifying your paragraph. Okay? When I am examining the topic string, I'm interested in a very specific location. And that location is the words that are located to the left of the midpoint of each sentence. So I'm interested in looking at what types of words are located in this section of the sentence. That's what the topic string is. The words to the left of the midpoint of each sentence. So it's not going to matter. I'm not talking about the subject of the sentence. I'm just talking about the first, usually 5 to 6 words of each sentence. Now, here's the issue. If my topic sentence is focusing on red and purple, for instance, okay, and then I suddenly have words at the beginning of these sentences that have nothing to do with red and purple. And in fact, red and purple don't appear until later on, maybe, in the sentence. Okay, so if this is the situation we have where suddenly we say, okay, I'm going to talk about red and purple, and then the very next sentence, what's happening is, oh, orange, then yellow, then green. Now, what's happened in the topic string is that I've shifted the focus that I've identified in the topic sentence. And I've selected words that don't have anything to do with red and purple. And it doesn't mean that I always have to repeat red and purple. I could use synonyms or pronouns. But this situation creates a problem with coherence. And that is, it's not clear how one sentence moves after another sentence. Now, let's look at a real-life example of this situation at play. So if we look at this paragraph, this is in Crafting Expository Argument. It's in Chapter 3. Okay. And let's take a look at the topic string area. In Lord of the Flies, Jack's proud nature leads to the destruction of authority and order on the island. Okay, so I bolded this because this is the focus. This is what should appear in the topic string. Okay? Jack and pride. Those are the concepts in the topic string. But if you look at the topic string, the first several words of the sentence, you'll notice that they don't have anything to do with Jack. So right away, we enter the second sentence, and we hit the conflagration, which is a fancy word for fire, That has nothing to do with Jack. None of the... It's not they're not synonyms for that one. Representing the boy's only hope. So, the first several words of this sentence, the first couple words of the topic string, have no connection to Jack's proud nature. So, if Jack's proud nature, let's say, is green, okay, in terms of color, then suddenly we shift colors. And it doesn't have anything to do with Jack's proud nature. And then we look at the third sentence. And what we have is another shift. Ralph is the elected chief on the island, and he complains. So if you look at the first couple words of this sentence, they also have nothing to do with the central ideas of the topic sentence. And so, if we look at just the topic string, that is the first several words of each sentence, they are creating a problem with coherence because none of the words themselves are linked to the central words of the topic sentence, Jack and pride. And then we continue further. And this fourth sentence, later at that night's assembly, the boys are disorderly and Ralph. Look at all this diction. None of that diction in the topic string. Remember, the topic string is literally the words to the left of the midpoint of the sentence. And they need to have some sort of connection with the topic sentence. And we don't have. So what we have in this situation is the chaos that we have with these colors. Now, to fix this problem often involves moving words around inside the sentence. So let's look at how this was solved. You'll find this also in Crafting Expository Argument in Chapter 3. Let's look at this carefully, okay? So we had green, okay? So this is green. And notice, if we look at the topic strings, Jack, pride, nature. Look at that. It's still green. Jack's pride first manifests itself when the conflagration. So we know that this is the first instance. Okay, and there we have our organizational word. Organizing the paragraph by time. Okay. But what we've done is we've also changed the adjective to a noun here. We have repeated the exact word. So that's one strategy. Okay? And as we go to the third sentence, in explaining his, now we have used a pronoun. So there's some variation in the topic strings. His course of action, Jack. But notice we're still in green. We're still focusing on Jack in the topic string. And notice in this fourth sentence, in response to Jack's continued rebellion, this is still green. And we pushed the new information, Ralph, outside of the topic string. Notice too, Ralph is outside of the topic string. Same thing here. These used to be at the front of the sentence. Now they're pushed in the middle. And that strengthens the coherence of the topic string. We could, we go back to exact repetition of Jack here. Certainly we don't want sentences to be Jack's pride, Jack's pride, Jack's pride, Jack's pride. So we need to be aware of the variety